What's up, everybody? Good morning. It is Monday. Welcome to the 710 Morning Show. Monday morning. And what's the date? 4/12, April 12th. 8 days out from Christmas. I mean, 420. I mean,
birthday.
44. I mean, what's going on? Oh, yeah. 420 is coming up. What's happening, everybody? Welcome to the 710 Morning Show. Good morning, Nurse Colleen.
Good morning, Pete.
You look lovely today.
Thank you. So do you.
Yeah.
Lovely. Absolutely lovely.
These flowers behind us are lovely. These showers yesterday brought these flowers, apparently. It was an incredible amount of wind yesterday. It was pretty interesting.
Wow.
But what was that?
7:13.
7:14 now. Yeah, Monday mornings we get a little bit of a late start. But if you want to get the pre-show, you can go over to Instagram. Instagram has the pre-show. So you can see us getting ready. You can see what's happening right before we go live.
Instagram always gets the pre and post show.
Every time. You know why? Because we have to hit the button while it's up there. We don't have like a remote control for Instagram. Just so silly. We should totally have a remote control for Instagram. What are we talking about today?
I don't know. You tell me.
We're talking about employee protections and legalization of marijuana. There's so much legalization going on, yet nobody really knows if they can keep their job, if their job's allowed to test them, and all sorts of stuff like that. And it's really important because just because marijuana is legal does not mean that you can necessarily go and have a job that allows you to use marijuana, whether it be medical or recreational. It's a really hot topic and one that's being addressed basically at every level, from federal to state to municipal level. And I feel like we need to catch some people up on it, maybe shed a little clarity on it, and see see what people think. See if we can inform some people, and maybe enact, get people to be activists for change, be catalysts for change, because there is a bill in there now too, one in the House, one in the Senate, to protect employees from losing their jobs for medical marijuana use. And you know what has happened? Nothing since March 3rd. Nothing. Actually, March 2nd.
Nothing.
It's introduced, assigned to a committee, and zip.
Nothing.
Nothing. So what you can do, what the protections are, what it's like in Florida, what it's like in other places, and all that and more on the 710 Morning Show. All that and more on the 710 Morning Show. You know how it is when it comes to employee protections, right?
You know how it is when it comes to Monday mornings.
Is my keyboard even working? Is my keyboard even working today?
I think so.
I hope so, because we had to move our studio, because we're not at the point where we have two studios yet, like a mobile studio and a home studio. We just kind of have to, so like these mics, for instance, have to come with us.
Everything has to.
Our little mixing board has to come with us. Soon we'll invest in like a second set of everything, so we don't have to do all of that. But for now, that's how it is. Lights. So we gotta break everything down, put everything back together. Yeah. So there's a little bit of an adjustment period on Monday morning. Why didn't you do that yesterday, you ask? I don't know.
We were exhausted yesterday.
Ask me again on Sunday, or ask me tomorrow. So
we needed a day of rest.
Even God rested a day. Jeez. So, marijuana is still federally illegal, right? And you have a lot of places that allow cannabis medically, and you have a lot of places that allow cannabis recreationally on the state level. But what does that mean for your employee protections, right? Are you allowed to consume cannabis because it's legal? If it's legal, should your employer be allowed to discriminate against it? I mean, alcohol is legal, yet you can get fired for coming in drunk, but you can't get fired for drinking on the weekends or drinking when you get home. So there's a lot of questions when it comes to this. And right now, there's a bill in Florida where lawmakers want to protect public employees, so state employees, public employees, municipal employees, from being discriminated against. And we saw a case here where the the IT professional, or the person in charge of IT for Palm Beach County, lost their job because
Right.
they're a medical marijuana patient and tested positive. And that this type of bill would prevent that from happening. So there's all sorts of stuff that goes on when it comes to legalization and what employers can do and what they can't do. So, for instance, in New York, in this legislation that just passed, right, employers are not allowed to ask or test for cannabis,
Huh.
right? So that's an example of how it could be.
Right.
Florida.
Florida.
So basically, if a company does do that, right? If a company does actually discriminate against you because of cannabis use or ask you, they're subject to fines according to this new law. So that's a really interesting way to go about it.
Yeah.
Again, I don't know how New York got this like amazing law passed where they just
I
threw
know.
everything in there.
You don't know.
No matter what it was. I mean, it took years, but eventually it was, anything that an activist wanted was thrown in there. Apparently, there
It
aren't a
was
lot, except for sales starting in a year and a half. I mean, it's a damn near perfect bill, a perfect law. I mean, you can do a lot of stuff, and the way the tax structure is set up, the taxes aren't even that high.
Right.
It's really great, and it protects employees. Employers are going to have a little bit more of an issue, I think, because for so long things have been one way, and now you have to change them. And that is tough for, HR departments and stuff to deal with. I was reading some stuff about in New York about employers complaining about that. So in New York, you have these newspapers. Ooh, Miracle Alien Cookies.
From Vatican.
So you have different newspapers. You have the Wall Street Journal, you have the New York Times, you have the Daily News, you have the New York Post. Well, the New York Post, aside from being written on a third grade reading level to appeal to the masses, it is a tabloid that has the best headlines you'll ever read. I wanted to be a writer for the New York Post for the longest time, just to come up with headlines because they're hilarious. And it leans very, conservative, right? So there's not going to be a pro legalization story in the New York Post, right? It's all going to be like something off about it, or they're going to make fun of it with pot puns. That's what they do. A lot of puns, very punny paper. So I was reading in there that they had, pizzeria owner was like, now I have no recourse when, guy comes in smelling like weed, I can't fire him now. And I was like, well, who's working in the pizzeria in the first place?
It's actually where I was going to go to try and get more patients.
Come on. I think it's just overblown that people think that people aren't using cannabis just because they're hiding it from their employer.
Right.
So they can't even ask. They're not even allowed to drug test you. They can't even ask. If they ask, they can be fined.
Hey, that's great.
Isn't that amazing?
It's discrimination.
I agree.
Wow.
I agree. I think it's discrimination as well. But here in Florida, there are no patient protections. In Pennsylvania, there are patient protections in Pennsylvania. Other states don't allow them as well, right? So it's kind of like a mishmash, and you have to find out where you are, not just what state you're in, but what city you're in, and find out locally what those marijuana laws are. There's usually a law firm that can, that you can find online that's going to tell you about your area and your county. I will tell you,
833 minority.
I will tell you that in Florida, there are no patient protections yet. The only protections that they have in Florida are for students, right? So students
well,
are
not even all students, only in the
not college students.
Well, only the public school system, really.
Oh, and the private school system doesn't
I guess
count?
they could make up their own
Hmm.
choices, right? They don't have to.
I don't know. They have weird things here in Florida, like charter schools that have
Not
half
just-
public, half private, but they can do whatever they want and they raise a lot of money. So a charter school gets money from the state and then they ask for more money from the parents. I'm like, what the fuck kind of school is this? It's like public and private, and we'll get money from both. And it's still not the best schools.
There's a lot of private schools and the Montessori schools.
There's what?
A lot of private schools.
Oh yeah, there are a lot of private schools, and I think it's because I think here, like, you see how hell bent on like freedom everybody is here. So
I took some allergy medicine and now my nose is running.
better go catch it.
I know. Whew.
So if these bills passed, right,
Mhm.
today in Florida, they are HB 335 and SB 692, and they are right now assigned to a committee. Just so you know, there's the end of this month, session is over in Tallahassee, and whatever bills don't make it through basically just die. We've talked about bills being killed by committee. Basically, they assign these bills to a number of committees, and those committees, if they don't get on the schedule and they don't get a chance to vote on these things, and I say get a chance kind of facetiously because it's
Not made
deliberate.
to be a priority, right?
Right. It's deliberately not a priority.
Right.
They just die. They go away. So not only do we have job protections in there, we actually had a legalization bill in there. It's still in there. It's just not going anywhere because it's just sitting there, not being
Ignoring it.
right.
They're just paying in too much attention to the 10% cap.
So there's actually a bill to legalize with home grow, and there's a separate bill to legalize without home grow. And there's another bill that would allow for small businesses, but nobody's hearing about these bills. Nobody's talking about them unless you're watching the 710 morning show and we just beat it to death that these things are out there. So we can only hope that you're taking the message out there. You know what I mean? That you're taking the message that you hear here and sharing it with people, because it's not always about defending what we already have. It's a fucking military tactic to make you think that you need to defend what you already have so you don't push for what you deserve and what you want. And what we want is legalization, and we're not going to allow them to divert us from that because they want to, pull the pendulum the other direction and say, we're going to take away what you already have and make us defend that. That is like straight out of The Art of War, and nobody seems to care or seems to notice, and myself included, for, it took a few months for me to realize, and I didn't realize it until I heard myself explaining why we wouldn't end we wouldn't end vertical integration in the state. Someone had asked me that, and I was explaining to them why we wouldn't end vertical integration. And I was telling them about how someone from the legislature came out and said that we have to protect the value of these licenses, right? And the licenses are so valuable because there's a few of them, right? There's only a few licenses. If there were more licenses, they'd be a lot less expensive and a lot less valuable. So because they're so rare and there's such a big population, they're very expensive licenses. The people who invested into these companies also invest into politicians. And I got from that they are protecting their campaign contributors, the value of their investment. That's what they're concerned with.
Right.
And that opinion was bolstered when DeSantis came out and said, we need to break up the cartels and allow smokable. And that was the last thing we heard about breaking up vertical integration. That was the last thing that we heard about it from him. And there was no addressing of it at all. Everybody seemed to forget about it. So that tells me that was right after he became governor. So that tells me that
there's something that he didn't know.
Exactly. There's something he didn't know. Someone came up to him and said, he's like, oh yeah, okay, we won't talk about that anymore. They donated how much? Okay. So I put two and two together and said, well, if they're not going to, if they're protecting the value of these investments and these licenses, and they put a 10% cap on THC,
Oh,
license values go way
the whole
down.
industry.
The
Yeah.
whole industry goes down.
What was that noise? You know what we need to talk about though? We need to talk about why there's like 22 licenses out there that have been given, and what, like, how many operating?
I think there's a little more than 14 now. I think it's like 16 or 17. Like Sanctuary opened the store, right? But even still, there's a good 6 to 8 licenses that aren't being used. And according to Amendment 2, that's supposed to be being used.
It's
So
not really fair for the patients in Florida.
they're just sitting
Right.
on them. And they may not have the infrastructure or the money to do anything with them, and that's a problem because they're supposed to. That was the whole idea behind that application, was that you were supposed to be able to start up right away. That's why it was so expensive, why you needed $5 million bond and all that kind of shit.
Right.
But so they're not going to cap 10%. They're not going to cap THC at 10%. And they're not going to do it for any noble reason as, patients need medicine. They don't give a fuck about that. They give a fuck about how much money is being contributed to their campaigns. And I think that is exactly what happened. And we won't see a cap because there's too much money involved. I don't think they're going to see a national cap. Again, I think it's a diversionary art of war type tactic to swing the pendulum back the other direction. And I don't think that people are politically savvy enough to pick up on it. Myself included, took me like 2 months to realize what the fuck was going on. So I'm not like immune from being, diverted, or misguided. So, these measures that are in there that are lost in committee would prohibit public employers from taking adverse personal action against a public employee or job applicant who's qualified patient using medical marijuana. But it only protects public employees. It doesn't protect private employees.
Right.
That's a next step. So if you work for a city, a county, the government, the state, public employees, if you're a cop, right?
Yeah. Firefighter, paramedic.
That's correct. Unless do they have private paramedics here? They have a lot of private paramedics in New York. It's like they'll like 3 ambulances will show up.
Yeah. Because I think they are.
And you're like, well, what ambulance is this? Do you come from a hospital?
I feel like they do have them. I do feel like they do. I'm not certain, but I feel like there are.
My friend,
they definitely have like transporters that bring people from the hospital to like rehabs and.
Yeah, I know. My friend,
that's private, I believe.
My friend Tony, when I was in high school, was an EMT. He was a little bit older. He was like in his 20s, and we used to hang out with him. And he was an EMT, but he drove like for a private company.
Yeah.
And I was like, I never want this company to come when I'm hurt because I know Tony. It's like, if they're hiring guys like this, I'd rather get a real ambulance, like the white one that comes out of the hospital garage,
They're also not required to go to any certain hospital.
Yeah, interesting, right? In New York, they have to. And it depends on the call. It's so strange. I wonder how it really works.
It's whoever's nicest to them. So whoever's receiving the patients.
And I want, because it's one of those things that you never really think about. You never really think about the behind the scenes, almost like prisons to me. It never dawned on me that they were private and incentivized,
Right.
And then like you look at it, you're like, so they have there's a public company and they have to show that they're trying to make more money, and they make money by having more people in their prison,
right?
And they have to keep growing to show growth,
right?
Like what? Like their business model is to have more people in jail,
right? Right.
It sounds crazy until you look at the healthcare model is to have, it's more profitable to have more people sick.
Right.
And herein lies the problems with capitalism. Where's Kylie? You want to bring Kylie on to talk about this?
My daughter.
We'll be here for 3 hours talking about this.
My hair is bothering me today. Can you tell?
No, what's wrong with it?
I don't know.
Why is it bothering? Is it attacking you?
I don't know. It's like sticking out in different directions.
Well, I like it. I think it's wonderful.
I love you guys.
It was wonderful to see everybody, and I think we have a couple of
really
birthday
was.
shout outs to make.
We sure do. And thank you for reminding me. I've been so forgetful lately, like ridiculous.
Yeah.
I was heavily medicated.
Well, that Mercy,
Yeah, yesterday I was heavily medicated. Well, the day before too.
you mercenized.
So, yeah, it was Martha's birthday yesterday. So happy birthday to Martha. If Martha's on there, I don't know.
Martha, Martha, Martha. This is those miracle alien cookies.
Mhm.
Armani, I think you figured it out. You asked the question, and then
Miracle
I think you
alien cookies.
because then you put like, look, check this out. Look,
yeah,
you
yeah,
said,
yeah.
what strain are you guys
And
smoking?
then it's a little.
And then he went and did this. So I guess you figured it out before we told you. Look at this. Good morning from Mexico.
Good morning.
What time is it there?
Oh yeah. Wow.
How many time zones are you over? 2, 3?
So happy birthday to Martha for yesterday.
Is there mountain time?
And happy birthday to Lisa today. 2 birthdays.
Happy
there's
birthday.
Martha. Happy birthday. Oh.
We could sing happy birthday, because it's public domain. We won't get flagged for that.
And no pain, Todd. That's great news.
No pain.
No pain.
No pain.
This weather has been crazy. We actually came home
All you got.
late
your power.
Saturday night because we didn't want to. We saw this nasty storm coming.
Oh yeah,
We're getting out of here.
I'm really glad that we didn't drive back the next day. How about that?
Why? Because all the storm.
Because of the wind.
yeah.
Would have probably blown us off the road.
Yeah.
I get back yesterday from going to pick up something at the supermarket.
Oh my God.
And I get back and I'm driving down the block to the cul-de-sac and the fucking our garbage pail was flying at the car. I'm like, holy shit.
From the side of the house.
From the side of the house.
Like down the cul-de-sac.
And I'm like, holy shit, I'm glad first thing I thought was like, I'm glad I got here when I did, or else that garbage can would be gone. So I jump out of the car to go to like stop it and it fucking hit me in the foot like on its way out. It was like a heavy garbage cans too. I could not believe the amount of wind. And as I got out of the car, I went to go towards the garbage can and the wind stopped me in my tracks.
Yeah.
I hadn't felt that since
bad.
1993.
We haven't been out, but it's storming right now. And they said there was some sort of size hail here. I can't remember what size.
Oh, there was dime size and then golf ball size.
Dime size hail here. Golf ball size, I think, was a little further north. Oh, excuse me. I haven't been outside yet, so I'm curious to see if anything happened out there.
It's not too bad. I mean, it's like little things around. It looks like there was a lot of wind. But even the water out behind us, so we had all like the wood and stuff, luckily got stuck behind the pull-up bar.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty interesting.
Pretty bad.
But it's awesome. Like, and my words, like as I'm putting away the garbage can and stuff and trying to get the garage open and shit, I'm like, this is awesome.
No.
It is pretty awesome.
No, I was really enjoying like the storm, watching it from the couch. Like, there was like a wake on the lake behind our house.
Oh, yeah, those are rough seas. I want to get the kayak out there, paddle into the wind.
Paddleboard would be cool.
I wonder if our Nessie back there got washed ashore or something.
I've been looking at so the Loch Ness Monster has been seen like 6 times this year.
That's it? 6 times?
They actually, they they did a lot of DNA testing. They collected a bunch of water samples from there, and they found a lot of evidence of eels. So they think it might be eels.
What kind of DNA is in the water over there?
No dinosaur, no monster.
But where does the DNA
I don't know what
from?
they look for. I have no idea. It is pouring outside.
It sounds like James is has no luggage. See? No luggage. So
I know.
you're stuck in Mexico with no luggage. That's okay. They have cheap clothes. It's all you can get a lot of jewelry too. Silver,
Wow, I can't believe how bad it's raining out there.
Wait a minute. He worked at a monster truck show.
Oh, that's awesome in Fort Pierce.
Monster Jam.
That's awesome.
Like my goal in life is be able to say that, right? Monster Jam. Monster Jam.
Just bring the big green bus out there.
Yeah, right. Fucking smash it.
Hey, Mick. Mick Hudson, that was great. They call Sasquatch Bigfoot, yet he never complains.
But
That's great.
We celebrate the dad jokes on this show.
Yes, we do. And anything Bigfoot, alien.
And Katrina says you don't need clothes in Mexico.
Loch Ness Monster.
So you're good.
Scottish DNA. I'm excited to see what comes out about the UFOs.
What comes out of them?
Comes out about them.
Laser beams. Pew, 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 pew.
Oh.
One of my favorite sounds is the lasers from War of the Worlds. Does anybody know that sound? I wonder if I can find it. Do you think I can?
I have no idea if I know that sound. Probably.
Laser sound.
Yes, I'm sure you can find that.
There it is. It's on YouTube.
9 seconds. That's
my
hilarious.
sound.
Can they hear it?
Yep, that was it. Oh, you can't hear it.
I can hear it.
You got your headphones
I
over
can
there.
hear it. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. It's loud.
I'm going to turn it way
You
up.
guys hear the laser sound?
Here it comes. You ready?
That's hilarious.
That's my favorite laser sound of all time.
It's hilarious.
Usually followed by an explosion. Do you know what War of the Worlds was? Do you know that story at all? Is that like a radio thing that only like radio people know? So I believe it was in
Say it again.
the War of the Worlds story.
Yeah, what about?
I believe. Do you know it at all?
I don't think so.
I believe it was in the 40s or the 30s. I can't remember. It was either the 40s or the 30s, but it was a radio show, right? And what they did was they didn't tell anybody that it was fake.
Oh my gosh.
And they broke into the show saying, we interrupt this program to bring you this latest news is that and aliens have invaded.
Oh my
and it caused like all this panic and
Yeah,
people
yeah,
didn't
yeah.
realize it was
Yeah.
fake. So,
Yeah.
and then they turned it into a movie and stuff. And the movie has these things. Why do I have Scottish DNA
The
up
big
there?
kids.
Like Star Wars
I
lasers.
don't know. Big kids at the park. We had so much fun at the park. That was great. After the grand opening at Vitacam, which was so much fun. Thank you everyone that came out.
Oh yeah, it was awesome.
Oh, it was such a great deal. 40% off.
Yeah, we got
these great backpacks.
a ton of stuff there too.
Yeah,
Maxed out everything.
sure did. I know. We're like all out.
I mean, 40% off was insane. Can't miss
We're all
that.
out of flour.
And then we chickened out of singing karaoke, unfortunately.
We did.
And then I had a brilliant idea that I don't know if I should share, but I will. On the way back, I had a brilliant idea for a song. What do you want to hear it?
Mm-hmm.
Whoomp, there it is.
For you and I to sing.
Wouldn't
We're
that
going to
be hilarious?
practice. We're going to practice because we didn't practice, but we're going to practice and we're going to sing the next one.
Tell me people there wouldn't fucking die if you went up there and were
Yeah.
like, all French vanilla, rocky road, chocolate, peanut butter cookie dough. That'd
Yeah.
be fucking
That would be
hilarious.
hilarious.
I think we're going to do that, and I
All
think
right.
it's going to be awesome.
All right. You guys ready? Everybody get ready for the next can of karaoke.
Because she won't do a serious one. She won't do like
I don't want to do a serious one.
endless love, because these are the most funny. They're the other ones that are the most funny, because you got to like try and be serious, but
The serious
you
one.
can't.
All right. Well, we'll try a bunch of them.
I have a feeling you're going to take it seriously, and you're going to be like, you're out of key. Sing it right. That's not the right word.
I will not. Not me. No. Hilarious.
We could do karaoke at the
Some Celine Dion. Yeah,
at
right.
the field day.
We're actually thinking about doing a talent show. So we have a call today at 4:30. But remember, Doug said that
Oh, can I do stand up at the talent show with my drum set so I can do rim shots?
yes,
I have never seen a comedian do that. Have you?
that would be hilarious.
You would think it would be the most low hanging fruit to just
Yeah,
have a
yeah.
drum set up there
That
going,
would be great.
run back there, tell a one liner, and hit the rim shot, and come back out.
But yeah, so a like a talent show.
Talent show. What are the criteria for the talent here? Is it all musical talent? Can it be like?
I don't know.
Can
I
you
don't
be
think
like
it's all
a
gonna be.
contortionist? Like
Probably, yeah,
America's
that would be pretty cool.
Can you what if you can like line up a bunch of candles and shoot an arrow through them or something like that, or something
Or like
crazy.
the swords, huh?
You're fucking
Like throwing swords.
sword swallower.
Jesus.
You can have
Flames.
Sometimes I wonder if I should keep holding back or not.
So we
right.
actually have to run, but go to floridafielday.com
Yes,
and register for your
FloridaFieldDay.com.
tickets for our field day, Orlando Normal Field Day.
Yes.
And we're doing that with Zick Productions at Renninger's in Mount Dora.
And if you want to be a vendor or a sponsor, there's forms over there. Those spots are filling up quick. There's a bunch more.
And it's
that came
limited
in.
space, and especially under the pavilion.
Yeah,
so
the pavilion space is filling up quick.
you got to get, if you want to get onto the pavilion, if you're not under the pavilion, then you need to get your own tent.
Yep. And it's a little more than it's 40 days away.
Yeah.
40 days away.
So excited. And soon we're going to be
Countdown.
asking for people to help pass out those little cards, little tickets, little
Yeah, we're gonna have these little
reminders,
cards.
those little
And
cards.
they'll be your tickets. And
We're so excited.
we're gonna get those out to everybody so it has all the information on them, and
Holy shit, it's pouring.
it's gonna be so much fun.
Can you hear that rain?
I hope it rains like this there so we can
I'm afraid to run out to the car.
so it could turn into like a mud event.
Oh my god.
Like Woodstock.
Oh my god.
Woodstock 94 was a
I decided
event.
I'm going to have a shit ton of tents out there. Not even just under the VIP. There's going to be a shit ton of
We
tents
should have showers.
and like water stuff, sprinklers. It's going to be hot. So I want a lot of like
We should have a big like
a lot of cooling stations,
you know what we could
misting
do?
fans,
Oh,
tents.
that's it's a good idea. We should get a hydro company to come in and set up like a hydroponics like Mister
Oh,
set
that
up
would be
because they have
cool.
like stuff that like
Yeah. Yeah, that would be really cool.
like everybody
Yeah.
walk through. That's
Yeah,
a good
yeah,
idea.
yeah.
We got to reach out to some hydro companies
Yeah.
for that.
Let's do that. Yeah.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah.
Love you guys. We got to go.
All right.
Bye.
Peace out.
Be safe. Have a good day. See you tomorrow.